Welcome to Truth Sentinel, watching over the truth in the news. I'm joined, as usual, with Seth. Bye, Seth. Hi, Seth. How are you?
Oh, pretty good, Scott. How are you doing today?
Not too bad. It seems like a long time since we last did a show.
Yeah, been, 3-4 weeks, something like that.
Yeah, and I'd like to explain to listeners that's because we got another strike. And when you get a strike, you basically can't do anything for, I think this case was 3 weeks. Means you can't even post. I think one of the worst things about it is you can't even post a message to people on your channel and say, hey, I've got a strike. So you literally it's useless for a while.
Yeah, I saw recently they had something with that. I mean, I don't really care for his work, but that, oh my gosh, Steven Crowder, who got banned there and whatnot, tried to upload something on like a backup channel of his telling people that, hey, I've been, you know what I mean, received a strike from YouTube and all this stuff. And then they took him down for, trying to subvert their guidelines or rules or whatnot. It's freaking ridiculous. It's rules for thee, not for me type stuff. Whereas there are people that can violate almost every single guideline on YouTube. I mean, we've talked before, Scott. Stuff like YouTube literally has like pseudo pornography all over the goddamn website, which violates their own terms and services. Yeah, they do nothing to stop it just because it's, doesn't matter. Whereas people like you and I, we're apparently public enemy number one, I guess, huh?
We are, yeah. Although our most recent chat hasn't been taken down yet. Maybe the sarcasm worked that time.
One can only hope, man. One can only hope. I'm really excited to hear about some of the alternatives that you've been looking into over the last couple of weeks here as we try and find a place to not only live stream rather than YouTube, but then also just upload podcasts in general and whatnot so that we can talk to people, even that are just listeners and whatnot on things like Spotify and whatnot. What do you got there, Scott?
Yeah, I'm going to try and actually show people a little bit of that. Yeah, that's the one good thing that's come out of this getting the strike and having a bit of chance to have a look at other options is that I've set up channels on brandnewtube. If anyone wants to check that out, just go onto Google and type in brandnewtube. I'll try and show people a bit later if I get the chance. But let me show you our channel on Spotify if I can. Let me just go there now. I'm just going to share the screen again, just so I can give people a bit of a visual. For people listening on an MP3 or something, I'm just going to show people. But basically, you can find most of these channels just by going to Google, typing in Truth Sentinel, Spotify or something like that. Let me just show you this one. This is our Spotify channel, so you can see us there. I think one of the good things about Spotify is I think, don't quote me on this, but I think you might be able to download as an MP3 on there. And some of these other channels are MP3 podcasts, but it's good that we can kind of spread the reach to go to places like this. Also places like Castbox. I'll try and put some links to these underneath today's show. So Spotify, Castbox, brandnewtube, which I think is quite good because they specifically say they don't censor. So we've already got some listeners on there as well. So hello, let's say a quick hello to new listeners on Spotify, brandnewtube, Odyssey. I'll put a link for that as well. That's another good one where we've literally moved all our episodes onto Odyssey. So if we do get kicked off YouTube, there's other places for people to go. And we really, it'd really be good if people would just go to all these channels and just subscribe so that if you suddenly don't hear of us anymore, at least you can catch up with us over there. The other good news is I appealed against the last strike, which was actually about an older video that I uploaded talking about how COVID-19 started. And they came back and they didn't agree with my challenge, but because they still deleted the video, but they did actually take off one strike, which means we've still got 2 strikes, which means we've got a bit more time on YouTube before we transition over to other channels. Reminder that we have...
Still definitely like to make that transition, though. Still definitely want to make that transition to other sites, though.
I don't actually think we'll have much choice. I think we'll get kicked off eventually, but Yeah. Although obviously YouTube's good for having a bit of reach and getting through to some new people. So whilst we're allowed on here, we'll probably still at least start our episodes on here. We might even move to a another channel at some point. Like, I mean, a radio station or something like that. So we'll see how it goes. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm absolutely up for it, and I know most of the listeners would be there. But as you said earlier, I definitely encourage people to get signed up on either, what is it, Odyssey, Spotify, brandnewtube, anything that they can possibly get on that can just even something like BitChute helps. Just because it's an alternative, and it's someplace that if you stop seeing our content get uploaded, that you can go find us there, which is a hell of an alternative to just nothing. And unfortunately, for a lot of people that are subscribed to different people on YouTube exclusively, you get to notice your subscriber base getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller until you've got nothing but normie bullshit and music and cat videos and what's left on YouTube there. Because almost all the actual cutting critique, commentary, documentaries, any sort of stuff that actually had real interaction and numbers behind it has been banned for the most part. And so definitely encourage people to get signed up on alternative websites, because it's going to be eventually our only option, man.
We are already on BitChute as well. The thing is, like, I'm not going to have time always to upload every single time onto all the different channels. There is one site I found called Anchor, which you can also watch your episodes, which actually distributes the episode to some sites, but not. I don't think BitChute's on their list. But hi to Kieran and Gormonger 2. Kieran likes his cat videos, from what I've heard. Yeah. So that's some of the admin news. Today we're going to sort of talk about any general news that's happened in the world. I did do an interview with on the Michael Deacon show today, and as a way to encourage people to go to some other sites and sign up, that's only available on Spotify at the moment. So if you want to listen to a kind of hour-long interview I did talking about the whole pandemic and stuff with Michael Deacon from the Michael Deacon show, go to Spotify, just type in Truth Sentinel. I think it might be in a few other places. I'm not going to put it on YouTube yet to try and encourage people to go and check out our alternatives, because, we don't want to lose all the valuable listeners like Gormonger 2 and Kieran.
Well, indeed. And I have a feeling as time goes on, we're going to have to start getting a bit more of exclusive content that goes to places like Spotify for a limited time exclusively and things like that, just to get people into the zone of feeling a little bit more comfortable of getting off YouTube, because YouTube kind of has that complacency blanket type feel where people get used to it for everything. And it's the same thing with Facebook. It becomes hard to get off of it, despite the fact that almost all of the good stuff is going to be gone.
Yeah. So. And time for a bit of sarcasm, because that's our new tool to evade the YouTube administrators. We do actually love YouTube. We're not saying we don't like you. Yeah. Actually, if YouTube weren't so stupid and trying to censor everything, it'd be a great place to stay. But we have to kind of look for alternative places. Also, I was talking to Seth. I was talking to Seth before the show about Patreon and maybe doing some exclusive interviews and stuff at some point, which would be kind of donation only or something like that. Not to say we've never really been in it for the money, because if we had been, we'd have been seriously in trouble. We rarely beg for donations or anything, but there are some kind of admin costs sometimes. Like if we want to stream on brandnewtube, you have to pay. Say it's not much, like $20 a month, but honestly, I at the end of each month I have nothing. So we're going to do some exclusive stuff, and those people that want extra interviews and stuff can maybe donate and get some extra stuff, and we use that's the small donations to live stream on some other sites. Anyway, we're going to talk about some things that happen in the news. I'll start off by I'll start off by talking about the volcanoes. Have you heard about volcanoes erupting in Democratic Republic of Congo?
No, I hadn't. Oh God, let's get into that.
Well, I've noticed. I swear this is just another indication that we're in the final days and the final days of the Earth, and I think the Earth's probably gonna explode. I think next year. That's probably what's going to happen. Yeah. So there's a volcano erupting at the moment in Democratic Republic of Congo. Thousands of people have fled their homes. And there's pictures on the BBC website. At least you can believe some things maybe you see on the BBC website these days. I think we can generally believe incidents like this and maybe some of the facts and figures. That's about all we can believe on the BBC website these days, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well,
so I thought I'd kick off with that.
I was going to say, I don't doubt at all that would cause any sort of a diaspora of people, because absolutely you'd have to evacuate. I mean, I've gotten to see stuff of like footage and whatnot from back in the day of Mount St. Helens up here. And there were a few people that decided to just, oh no, I don't need to move. The volcano eruption, it's not that big a deal, right? And those people are all gone now. So nature doesn't seem to give a shit. But
it certainly
it's very
doesn't.
sad to see those people go, and I wonder how this ties into stuff. I don't know if this is necessarily end of days stuff and all that, right? But it is still too bad to see. You got any particular angles on that, or is there anybody trying to, let's say, capitalize on that in any particular way? Is it making COVID cases worse?
No. When it comes to COVID, I thought we could quickly discuss the Indian variant, which is
the Indian variant.
The Indian variant, which is obviously going to kill everyone on Earth by probably next week, I think. Kieran
like
says,
a bad fucking sitcom, daytime fucking TV soap opera.
I just noticed in the chat that Kieran said, Congo, biggest area of unexplored land left in the world. Hopefully Godzilla is on his way to destroy everything. I think that's a valid point. Yeah. So if Godzilla doesn't get us, the Indian COVID variant will, because how much faster does it spread? Well, apparently not much faster. But the BBC have been spreading, for the last 2 weeks, have just literally been spreading lots and lots of fear about of what's happening in India and the Indian COVID variant. I'm sure it's got nothing to do with those needles that they're trying to get in everyone's arms.